Number 7. Matapos kaya tayo today. Number 7, collect or select. Ito si James, collect or select. Di ba collect and select yun? Collect or select, ano ibig sabihin yan? Another decision that you have to make. Asik, Jean, ito palang masterclass ko about decision making. Hindi pala tax. Okay? Bakit collect or select? Because you have to decide whether you will accumulate receipts or what we call itemized deductions to reduce your taxable income, or you will just opt or select the optional standard deduction. Ano ang difference? Kami po, para po sa mga malalaking artista na tinutulungan namin, they cannot use itemized deduction. It's discouraged, highly discouraged. Let's say, for instance, a celebrity, I won't say it's James, but more or less, basta mga big stars. If they make 100 to 500 million annual revenues, anong gagawin namin? Mangongolekta kami resibo sa buong Pilipinas. You cannot accumulate such expense. It's not possible. And BIR will run after you. Whose expenses are these? Honestly, you cannot spend 500 million in a year, di ba? So we recommend them to use the optional standard deduction, which is 40% of their gross is a standard deduction. No more receipt, no more audit. Basta 100% sales or revenue, 40% standard deduction, untaxable 60%. That is the optional standard deduction. If you select OSD, 40% ang magiging standard deduction or expense mo. Pero kung ikaw ay maliit na negosyo, retailer, na maraming resibo at may mga resibo talaga ang supplier mo, collect po tayo na resibo. Meaning, we ask for official receipts. Ako po, bingi na ako sa lahat na nagre-reklamo at hindi ko na po alam kung paano isisiksik sa mga utak natin na hindi po kasalanan ni BIR kung walang resibo yung supplier natin. We have to make sure that we support registered entities as well. Sa akin po, okay lang kung one time gusto mong tulungan, like for this pandemic, meron tayong mga kaibigan na hindi registered pero may skill, may potential, tulungan natin kasi ako pro-productivity ako eh. I'm not so much about legalities, formalities. Eh. Sa akin, as long as you have the potential, you can deliver results, it doesn't matter, sige, wala kang resibo. One time. Pero pag nakita mo potential niya that he can generate revenues, encourage mo na siyang mag-register so that he can issue receipts. And that is the problem. Minsan, nahihiya tayong sabihin or nakasanayan na natin, kasi pag humingi ako resibo, plus 12% daw, kaya hindi na lang ako humingi resibo. That doesn't make it right. Both of you are wrong. If you want the itemized deductions, and I am saying this to everyone watching and those who will be sharing this and viewing this later on, if you choose the itemized deduction, you have to collect secure official receipts for every expense that you make. No excuses. Like for instance, although I'll be mentioning this later on, lahat ng mga nag-donate, that's a deductible expense. In fact, under the train law, the first 250,000, which we may have donated during this ECQ, 250,000 worth of our inventories, worth of our goods, services, spaces na pinagamit natin, etc., that is tax exempt. Walang 6% donor's tax. But in excess of 250,000, we need to substantiate it. We need to execute deed of donation if it's donated to the government. Or we need to ask for a certificate of donation if it is donated to a foundation. Or what can we do if it is just given to a person on the side of the street? At least we ask for acknowledgement receipt. We need to document it. Otherwise, ikaw si BIR Commissioner. Sabi ni Abrea, Commissioner, nag-donate ako ng 1 million sabay kindat. Is that okay? Eh, hindi lahat magkiklaim na lang ng donation as deductible expense. That is the reason why we need to substantiate it. And that is according to Revenue Regulation 9-2020. Just document it, sabi ni BIR, sabi ni DOF. Sige, tax exempt na lahat ng dinonate nyo during this pandemic or ECQ. But please substantiate it. And aside from exemption, pwede mo ding gamiting deductible expense. Eh, paano naman yung paninda ko, sermon, nasira, yung mga ingredients ko na bulok, o yung ibang gamit nasira, yung ibang kontrata na cancel, ang dami kong losses. I understand, probably all of us. We started accumulating debts and losses by this time. You can claim it as well. You have 45 days to inform BIR that you have incurred those losses. Why do I have to inform BIR? How can you claim? You need to let them know. You need to estimate the amount of loss. You need to substantiate. Picturean mo, mag-selfie ka kasama yung bulok na isda. O, ilista ng pang resibo na nasirang raw materials. I mean, it may sound weird or odd, but you have to put yourself in the position of BIR. How can they justify or approve your request if you cannot substantiate it? So, collect or select, whether you are an individual, OPC, one-person corporation, or corporation, you need to decide whether your expenses or deductible expenses to reduce your taxable income, itemize ba, collect resibo, or we just select 40% optional standard deduction. Okay? Number 8. Parang roleta to ha. Tax credit, tax refund, carry over. Ayun, mga sarap pakinggan no? Parang puro good news. Alam niyo po, pag sinabing tax credit, ito ay excess payment from previous month or previous quarter. As long as the return is clear that there was an excess payment, you don't need to avail of BIR's consent or inform them. Just copy the tax credit excess payment doon sa tax credit, doon sa current return na ifa-file mo. Refund. Most of the employees will be getting tax refunds either start of the year or in-adjust at the end of the year. But the VAT refund is another thing. You have to apply for VAT refund. And we're hoping na mas mapapabilis ang VAT refund during this pandemic kasi nga mas kailangan natin yung cash. Carry over. Actually, si carry over loss. Kapag may mga losses ka, pwede mo siyang i-claim up to 3 years. Kaya tawag carry over. Okay? Ang suggestion ni BIR, ni DOF pala, is to extend the carryover from 3 years to 5 years para yung mag-accumulate na maraming losses, they can still use the losses to reduce their taxes until 5 years. So those are the 3 things that you need to know if it happens to you or if it's applicable to you. Do you have tax credit? Refund, carry over. Another tax credit is yung mga withholding tax credit. Ibig sabihin, winidholdan ka ng supplier, ng kliyente mo ng 10%, ng 5%. Nagpapaupa ka, winidholdan ka ng 5%. You can use the tax credit through the 2307, yung form na dapat binibigay nila sa inyo quarterly, para ibabangga mo yun sa income tax na babayaran mo. So assuming, example, kailangan ko magbayad ng 10,000 income tax, pero winidholdan ako ng clients ko ng 5,000 pesos. So yung 10,000 pesos na babayaran ko, may tax credit ako na 5,000, may 2307 siya, 5,000 pesos na yung babayaran ko. So na-reduce siya. Okay? So that's for the tax credit, tax refund, carry over. Diba? Pero alam niyo po, ang ating mga sama ng loob, mga heartbreaks, wag na po natin i-carry over yan. Move on na po tayo. Next, number 9. Kasi po mauubos na po yung oras at baka putulan tayong kuryente. Number 9, ito po napaka-importante. BIR updates or issuances. I really encourage all of you to follow Bureau of Internal Revenue Philippines. And of course, Asian Consulting Group. Bakit? Marami pong ini-issuing BIR regulations, memo, reminders, circulars na dapat updated tayo. Kung gusto niyo pong less technical, sa ACG kayo pumunta kasi yun po ang trabaho ng mga digital team namin to create infographics, to laymanize it, to simplify it. RR 11-2020, if you go now to Asian Consulting Group, ang nakapin po doon, ako po yung nagpin ganyan tayo kasipag, tayo lang din tutulungan. Ang nakapin po doon, BIR deadlines. Share it so all of your colleagues, suppliers, friends, you don't get taranta. Huwag kayong mataranta sa BIR deadline. So makikita nyo sa Asian Consulting Group page, BIR deadlines, revise ito na extension, RR 11-2020. Then get your calendar, pagbibilugan na po natin yung deadline. After natin mabilugan lahat ng deadline, isama na natin yung bills natin, Meralco, PLDT, Globe Smart, lahat ng babayaran, pati renta, kunin na natin yung mga amounts para ma-budget na natin, ma-prepare na natin ang cash flow natin. Do not wait for the lifting of the lockdown. We have so much things to do. Actually, baka kulang itong natitirang araw bago malit yung ECQ to prepare, to plan our lives. So make sure after this webinar, you do it already. Don't waste any more time because all these issuances are very important. Audit suspension, yung mga takot na takot sa BIR audit, suspended siya. But take note, hanggat may quarantine, kay general, kay modified, kay enhanced, or kung anumang season 5 yan, hanggat may quarantine, suspended ang audit. Once na na-lift siya, count 60 days, that's the only time a BIR examiner can start contacting you. Pero hindi po ibig sabihin tutulugan nyo. Prepare now. So if you need help, let us know. If you have question, download the app. Alam nyo po, libre naman to. Pag hindi nyo pa in-avail, baka problema nyo na talaga sarili nyo. Ay, joke lang po. Kayo talagang problema. You need to do something. You need to help yourself before others can help you. So don't just wait for the government to help us. We need to help ourselves and we need to find a way to help the government and through the taxes that we will be paying. Number 10, Woo! I may take note po pala. Yung RMC 34-2020, ito na nga yung 60 days. Next! Sabi ko na yan. Ito na, number 10. Sa dami ng deadline, baka makakalimutan nyo, anniversary nyo. Ay, naghiwalay na pala sila. I'm so sorry. Pag dinownload nyo po yung TaxWiz PH, may tax calendar siya, may tax alert siya. So lahat po ng mga deadlines na yan, i-remind kayo. So para kang ginigising ng alas 5, ito, you can be alarmed or reminded 5 days before the deadline, etc. And once na fully developed na po yung app, you can start filing and paying just using your mobile app para mas marami kang time mag-date o humanap ng ka-date. Okay? So, parang medyo smiling face na sila together, no? Sige, sa next webinar, babalitaan ko kayo kasi wala na tayong oras. Next slide! Parang game show to, parang noontime show to. Ano na ba, kasabay ko na ba si Willie Revillame? Baka ito tumalo sa show niya. So anyway, follow our page so that you will be updated. We will try to have webinars. Napapagalitan na ako ng nanay ko kasi lagi ako naka-online. Wala nga akong pasok pero kasi po, kung nasaan ako ngayon, wala po ako sa office, virtual background yan. Ang katotohanan, nasa kusina po ako. So hindi siya makapagluto, hindi siya makapag-prepare ng kahit ano. So can we extend? Ito na po, Asik Jean, hindi po ako malis, andito lang po ako. Pero pag nagalit po ang nanay ko at wala kaming kinain, ikaw ang ituturo ko, ha? So, ang point lang po natin is, we need to be informed, we need to collaborate, we need to get help, but we also try to help those we can help. So, wag po tayong malungkot lang, wag tayong malumbay, sayang yung enerhiya natin, sayang yung resources, sayang ang social media kung tayo ay magagalit lamang. Dapat po ang social media, we promote the mga information, mga assistance, mga programs na ganito, and how to get rid of BIR audit. Give us time, probably next week we'll post the schedule. Definitely, it will be free. We just need you to help us spread the word, not the fake news, but the information, okay? So, next slide. Ito,
Okay. I think Mr. Mon Abria is on his final slides, but I think a lot of people are still, wanting to listen to him finally on the last slides. And most especially that we have a lot of questions nasa FB at nasa Zoom rin po. So we'll just wait for him to come back. But anyway, while waiting, pakibantay na lang Sam pag nakabalik na siya, no? If I remember it right, we also guested Mr. Mon Abria during our Bouncing Back webinar in PTTC. And meron po siyang mga nabanggit na tax relief. Ito yung sabi niyang ilalakad nga niya sa Congress, okay, and sa right agencies. So tax relief which can address the cash flow and liquidity issues of a lot of small businesses while helping the government collect taxes from large taxpayers. Wala pa siya, Sam? Among these are, yun sa mga nabanggit niya, general tax amnesty, lowering of corporate income tax from 30 to 20%, tax credit rebate for employers, tax holidays for MSMEs, and no audit program for large taxpayers. Ang binabanggit niya po last time, ito yung mga gusto niya ngang i-propose na tax relief na pwedeng may apply sa mga empleyado, sa mga MSMEs, sa mga large MSMEs, and even large enterprises rather, and MSMEs. So the last time that we guested him here in PTTC, ang sinasabi niya, yun po yung mga ilalakad niya nga. And we hope, at the beginning of his presentation kanina, he was also mentioning that meron siyang good news. I don't know if ang good news niya is kabilang po dito sa mga nabanggit natin kanina. So we hope the connectivity issue of Mr. Mon Abria will be addressed. Is he back? Hello daw po sa ating mga FB Live viewers. Hindi ko alam kung nagpataas ng ating live, ng ating bilang. Ilan siya? 471, and we have 367 in Zoom right now. And kanina rin, we got from, okay, saan ba siya? Ang dami nating no, nationwide actually yung mga viewers natin. And we're very happy that you're joining us. Okay? We're just waiting for, okay, bumalik na ba siya?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, pinasok ko lang
Hello.
po, Sir Mon, yung mga sinabi nyo dito last time, yung mga tax relief that you were mentioning. And I don't know if it's part of the good news that you're reporting.
Yes.
Now. Yes, okay. Take it away po.
Asik Jean, sorry pagka na-cut ako, tapos pag pindot ko ng link, napunta na ako sa Go Negosyo. So may isa pa akong live, so they're waiting for me now. I'm so sorry, guys. So anyway, with common violations and penalties, no, importante na we take note of this, not to memorize or become an expert, but to avoid these unnecessary penalties. Failure to register, even the annual renewal, just simply displaying it. Paano in online business ako, paano ko i-display yung registration documents ko? Kung ano po yung ni-register yung business, whether kwarto mo, bahay mo, dapat may portion doon na hindi nakatago sa cabinet, no, na naka-display yung registration documents to really legitimize the existence of an ongoing business in that room, in that house, in that area. Okay, next slide po. Yan, then it's also important to make sure na hindi po tayo gumagamit ng resibong galing recto or nagprint na sarili nating resibo. I think BIR has been repeating this, that we need to have an authorized authority to print receipt, meaning yung BIR inapprove kung sino yung magpiprint ng resibo natin. As I have said, RMC 47-2020 during this pandemic or ECQ, kung nag-expire na yung resibo, naubusan ka na ng resibo or hindi mo mapadala yung resibo, may mga alternatives. Pwedeng i-email mo lang, pwedeng tatlagyan mo lang extension, etc. Ina-allow na ni BIR. We just have to inform the RDO or the concerned office. So please check RMC 47-2020. You can also visit our official Facebook page, Asian Consulting Group, or download our app. We can chat so that you will be clarified. Next slide po. Ayan, so save money on your taxes as the tax risk. You know, we take pride and glory that we are helping the government collect the right taxes. But at the same time, that we educate the public, whether celebrity ka, startup ka, empleyado ka, so that you will no longer be afraid of taxes. And I am just very privileged that I work with the government and I work with BIR now. Unlike before, no, tinawag na yata akong public enemy number 1 ng BIR, kaka-criticize sa mga corrupt practices. But at the end of the day, corrupt practices are actually involving both parties, the examiner and the taxpayers. And the only way to get rid of corruption, BIR audit, is education. If we will be able to pay the right taxes using technology, using collaboration and partnership so that it will be less costly, we can save a lot of taxes and avoid unnecessary penalties and compromises. If you will run through 1 to 10, kahit sino pong tax lawyer or tax expert, you will realize that you will be saving a lot every time that you make the right choice from number 1 to number 10. If you miss one option or if you miss to make that right decision, you will be paying the cost. So here, education or knowledge is not just power, but making the right choice will save us a lot of money. So choose to do the right thing, choose to download the app, choose to ask the right questions. Kasi pag hindi po natin siya nagawa ng tama, instead na ma-avail natin yung option na mas mababa yung buwis, you know, I won't identify, but a lot of these celebrities, they directly contact me, call, text. Kanina ka-text ko si Miss Carla Estrada, si DJ Chacha yan, lagi kong ka-chat yan. Of course, si Salvi, a good friend, lagi kami nag-uusap on how do we educate the public? Ano ba yung option para mas mapababa yung buwis? Ang couple na si Kian at si China, nakakatawa kasi yung mga may anak dyan, ako din ang ninong. But at the end of the day, this is not a cult. This is not an empire that we build. We want to really unite and promote responsible citizenship na we pay our taxes not because we're afraid of BIR, but because that's the right thing to do. And we don't need to be afraid because if you ask the right questions, if you ask the tax risk, if you do the right thing, you will save a lot of money. So wag po tayo matakot sa buwis. 1 to 10, take note of them. May questions kayo, chat with me. I will tell you why taxes should not be the problem. Okay? So please just be with us. Okay? Ayan, ito po yung mga social media pages namin. Just follow it. It's free. Keep educating yourself. Keep updating yourself. And I will tell you one day, you will be like me, so talkative and so excited whenever you talk about taxes. So this is not drugs. This is the reality because I appreciate our tax system. Of course, I know the flaws. That's why sabi nga ni Ma'am Nelly, may mga pinopropose tayo, no? And I am already making that announcement because I received a copy of the bill, Senate Bill number 1474, proposing for 1 year income tax exemption for everyone, employees, self-employed, and corporation. That's a very, very good news kasi diba, ang proposal natin, Ma'am Nelly, tax holiday lang for small businesses. Aba, ito pati empleyado. Pam! Pero actually, ang mas gusto kong proposal doon is yung tax rebate para sa employees. Meaning, hindi mo lang sila i-exempt, pero i-refund mo, ibigay mo sa kanila, yung na-withhold sa kanila for a time, let's say, during the quarantine, yung mga sumweldo or from January to March, etc. Para more. This is to increase purchasing power. This is to give the money to the people. That's the only way to restart our economy. Ibigay ang pera sa tao, sa mga negosyante lalo na, para magamit, para makapag-bounce back, para ma-jumpstart yung ekonomiya. And I'm very thankful to Secretary, anong pangalan mabanggit ko? Secretary Carl Chua for really listening to our proposal, and to DOF Secretary, to the Senate, Congress. Araw-araw ko po silang tinatag sa Instagram. If you follow me in Instagram as the Tax Wiz, sa IG story ko po, mega tag po yung mga yan. Kasi every week na interview ako sa TV, sa radyo, we publish articles in Inquirer, Rappler, and Business World, and we have our acg.ph website for blogs. Lahat po yan, lahat na nire-release namin content to promote tax education, to promote tax reform, tinatag ko po lahat ng senador at congressman. Hindi ko po sila tatantanan. Hindi ako si Mike Enriquez, pero hindi ko sila tatantanan until we get everything that we need so that we can all bounce back, jumpstart, and sabi ni BSP Governor, it's not just a new normal, it's the new economy. And this new economy should be faster, safer, and driven by technology. Technology-driven. Kaya si Asik Jean, ayan, boto natin, e-commerce, because that is the only way to go. Gawin mo ng consultant si James Lynn Asik Jean. Kasi katulad mo yon, crazy din ang mga ideas. Ako, medyo non-millennial pagdating sa digital. Ito nga, best effort na ako. Imagine mo, pati emergency light namin, saka ilaw sa poste ng kalsada, kinuha ko para ilawan ako dito sa webinar na to, so that we will be able to do this discussion. So thank you very much for everyone who tuned in. Please do share this and like our page, download our app. I assure you, ito po pala yung open letter. So if you see this in our page or in my post, please share it, tag your congressman, tag your senators. Lahat po ng proposal natin nandyan. Everything is for us. Everything is to help businesses. Tax breaks for small businesses. So this was published and this was sent to all senators, congressmen, DOF, DTI, NEDA. So lahat po sila nakatanggap. So masaya po tayo na unti-unti gumagalaw na. And we got a word from some senators. I won't drop their names kasi baka ma-compromise sila or ma-pressure. But hopefully, they will also sponsor a bill to start giving us tax relief to really bounce back. Next slide po. Next slide. So we are about to end. Ayan, so
these days, everything can be done by phone. Ordering food, booking a hotel, buying gifts.
Walang sound. Walang sound.
The TaxWiz PH mobile. These days, everything can be done by phone. Ordering food, booking a hotel, buying gifts, getting a ride. It's all just a few taps away. These days, everything can be done by phone. Ordering food, booking a hotel, buying gifts, getting a ride. It's all just a few taps away. But what if we could make taxes just as easy? It allows me to sit back and relax even if there's an upcoming deadline. Why? Well, because I've already did my taxes in advance, thanks to the tax calendar. And if I forget to check, the tax alert feature will notify me of upcoming deadlines, keeping me on track. With the app, you can also calculate calculate how much you need to pay. That's one less thing to think about come tax season. But what if you don't know how to do your tax compliance or you have any other questions? Well, you can just ask the tax whiz. Mon himself will be available for consultation through the app. Make taxes easy.
And go. So, yeah, sige po, play lang. Ayan, unfortunately, I don't think we can do Q&A, no? Kasi I have a live mentoring with Go Negosyo at 3 p.m. Sorry, Asik Jean. Pero gusto ko po talaga maging artista nung bata. Kaya ang mga artista na to, tinulungan ko na lang sa tax. Kasi nga, malinaw naman po, no? Hindi tayo makakapag-artista. But when it comes to taxes, all of us can learn it. And hopefully, all of us will be able to choose the right thing, to do the right thing, and pay the right taxes. So, please do like our page and download the app. I will surely answer all your questions. Wala po tayong palalagpasin na tanong. Lahat po sasagutin natin. And probably, Asik Jean, we can have another session or Ma'am Nelly. I'm very much open anyway. Wala na akong pupunta dito na ako sa bahay. So, that's it, guys. So, thank you very much for all those who watch and who shared this.
Okay, so I understand we don't have time anymore because you have another session.
Yes,
we
po.
actually have a lot of questions. I don't know what we can do with that. Pwede bang i-forward namin siya sa inyo?
Siguro we can answer it, yes.
Yeah, or maybe if you have a buddy right now, if he can start already answering some of the questions that we have on FB and Zoom.
Sige po, we'll ask them to, I think Rosel is here so she can answer some of them and I'll try to answer after. Or whatever, if it's in Facebook, we'll try to answer all of them.
Yeah, okay. So maybe we just have to share it. So lahat po ng mga nag-aabang, ang dami pong tanong talaga, Sir Mon, ano? Very inspiring. Kasi while we're talking about taxes, ito parang ang ganda ng mga recommendations nyo, ang ganda ng mga tax relief na proposals ninyo, and you have explained it well sa mga kababayan natin MSMEs. Okay, so we won't hold you for long because I understand meron pa kayo, sabi nga most sought after kayo.
May mga utang po kayo inaabol. Pero
okay.
Maraming salamat po, Ma'am Nelly. Nagkita ulit tayo, no? Pero hindi pa tayo nakita sa personal.
Okay.
But thank you very much, DTI
Yes,
Commerce, Asik Jean. Panonorin ko mamaya kay DG, no? Intellectual property. I think that's also something that we will be doing for a lot of our celebrities. Ito yung trademark nila, yung mga logos and designs nila. And sa digital, no? A lot of yung mga codes and everything. Intellectual property, very interesting topic. Another birthday boy, si Director General Ruel Barba. Hindi po siya si John Lloyd, no? But he will definitely help us understand and take advantage of the protection or the what is provided in our law. So pinromote ko talaga. May burger ako dito, DG Rowell. So maraming pong salamat. Ma'am, I need to go. Thank you very much, guys. So please follow us and I'll answer all the questions. Promise.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you po.
Founding chair of the Asian Consulting Group, Mr. Mon Abria. We're very sorry that we cannot, he cannot answer all the questions that we have. Pero nag-promise po naman siya that he will come back. He will again check the Zoom and the Facebook account of DTI e-commerce so they can answer. I think his body is still online, so maybe some of the questions that can be answered by him will already be answered. So kinakapusin po tayo talaga ng oras, and we have another schedule at 5 o'clock. We'd like to invite you. Sabi nga ni Sir Mon, it's about intellectual property. It's all about, branding, trademarks, copyright, industrial design, and everything and anything and everything about intellectual property office. And no less than the Director General, Attorney Roel Barba, will be there, and full force po sila, powerhouse, all the heads, all the lawyers, all the attorneys that are heading the different offices under the intellectual property office will be there to answer, to present, and to enlighten you on issues about IPO, and also answer all your questions. Okay, so that will be at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So medyo talagang, ayun po, we need to wrap up. But before we finally wrap up, we wanted to thank again our sponsors and our enablers, our partners, Academy of Entrepreneurs of Australia, Air 21, Asian Consulting Group, Carb PH, Care of Thames, FedEx, Gawin PH, GCash, Globe My Business, Google Primer App, Grab Philippines, Grab Pay and Grab Express, Lalamove, and Lazada. By the way, we'd like also to request you to please fill out this client satisfaction feedback. We're now showing it on screen. It's a QR code. Okay, so pakitingin lang po, and we need you to submit, okay, because we also wanted to improve on the program that we're doing. Again, this is the second session of the 3-day with about 9 sessions for the Control Biz Reboot Now of the Department of Trade and Industry, and also by Thames International Business School and the Philippine Trade Training Center. Ladies and gentlemen, just to close, sabi nga, never waste a crisis. It can be turned to joyful transformation. That's according to Rahan Israel Emmanuel. Okay, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you. Okay, there were about 3,328 shares and 5,000 views for Facebook. Talagang most sought after yung ating resource person today. Again, in behalf of our Assistant Secretary, Jean Pacheco, who is actually leading this 2 series of Control Biz Reboot Now series of webinars, bringing in a lot of resource persons and enablers. This has been Nelly Diliera of the Philippine Trade Training Center, along with my team here, Arnold Darcenas, Sam Acosta, Bon, Jovi Layson, and of course, King Florido from the Philippine Trade Training Center. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. See you at 5 o'clock this afternoon, and see you again tomorrow, 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.